So Richard, October last year, I believe it was, you and Jevon were both being interviewed for the job you're in now. What was it that made you want to be Commissioner of Police?
Well, you know, when I started policing 30 years ago, I just wanted to be a good policeman. Do my absolute best. Always wanted to join the police from the time I was a young lad. Nothing's changed. Still just want to be a good policeman, still want to do my absolute best. I never set out to aspire to be the Commissioner, but I felt that I had something to add, some value to add. I'm quite determined to make sure we focused on the right things for our country and for my workforce. And so I decided, yep, I'm going to give this a go. And when I turned up for my interview here in Wellington, I put on the table what I stood for, what I understood the priorities needed to be, and gave the choice to other people. And I'm the lucky one.
And then, I think it was November, the following month, it gets announced. At that point, when you come to work for your first day, how did you envisage the year ahead at that point?
Well, I knew it was going to be hard work. Any job in policing is tough. I knew it was going to be hard. My first 12 months have been perhaps more full than I had thought it would be. One of the reasons for that is that I haven't had a stable leadership team in place, and I'm looking forward to that for next year. But I always knew that I was going to be dealing with really tough stuff. I knew that I had a big job ahead of me to turn around the morale that was in the organisation as well, and also to reset the public expectations of what is a very public organisation. So I always knew I was going to have a big task. I've loved every moment of it, even the tough stuff, because I always knew that was going to happen.
I think it was 2 days before you start,
right.
You get this briefing, if it's the right word, about Jevon skimming. What were you initially told, and what was your initial reaction?
I was briefed, you're right, 2 days before I started as the Commissioner by a Detective Superintendent. I was advised that there was an investigation underway, that they had just put the right processes in place, the right structure around that, and that investigation was focused on a complaint that had been received some time ago, I sought reassurance that the right people were involved. We have very, very capable specialists who deal with complaints of a sexual nature, so I was reassured that we had the right things in place in November, as the IPCA report says, not before that, unfortunately. We deviated. So look, because I knew absolutely nothing about an affair or any other detail around it, I absolutely knew nothing. I think I put my head down. I'd always just done my job. So of course, even with what I was briefed back then, I was gutted to think that this was something that would ever occur. Anyway, the investigation took its course, and now we have the benefit of a very thorough IPCA report.
New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, sorry. We had the tragic death of Lynn Fleming. Now, from memory, you were away in Taupo at the time, and you've been out patrolling the evening, right? The evening.
Yeah.
So, talk me through, I guess, firstly, your reaction to that, and what broader concerns you have when it comes to staff safety.
Look, the loss of Lynn on New Year's Eve was, without question, the toughest thing that I've dealt with this year in my first 12 months. You know that when the phone goes in the middle of the night, it's not good. I had been out that night in Tauranga, Tokoroa, and just doing what I do alongside my police colleagues who are policing New Year's Eve and do a great job. I got back to where I was staying in Taupo, and the phone rang. I think I'd been in bed for about an hour. When I got that phone call, I knew it was not good. So I said to my wife, I've got to turn the light on, iron my shirt, my police shirt, and drove to Wellington. Yeah, and fortunately I managed to get to Nelson pretty quickly on the first flight. I was there, I think, about 9 a.m. And the Minister, who I'd telephoned in the early hours, was also able to get there and show his support. And yeah, it is what it is. Worst thing for any police colleague to ever have to deal with. But you know, 5 weeks into my time as the Commissioner, it's pretty tough actually. But it's always going to be tough, that sort of tragedy.
And then, of course, there's the IPCA report. Now, before that got released, obviously there was this, the findings got sent to relevant ministers, yourself and other people ahead of its release. Some point, you see it, you sit down, you read it, and you get a full understanding of what's been going on. Talk me through for you.
A word to describe how I felt: anger. Anger because New Zealanders deserve better from the most senior levels of New Zealand Police, and so do people across my organisation. They want to be able to believe in their leadership, they want to believe that their leadership is competent and focused and working really, really hard on the right things. So when I read the report and I took from it things like groupthink and, I was just angry actually. Angry on behalf of the people that I lead who I knew felt the same as me or were going to feel the same as me when that report became public.
As you'll know, it's a very lengthy report and it does cover quite a few different things. Was there anything in particular that stood out for you when you read it and you looked over it?
Yeah, lots of things that leaders in any organisation, particularly policing, should not be doing. And that's interfering in the processes where very highly skilled and trained people, particularly when it comes to complaints of a sexual nature, the service that we need to provide to victims. We have very talented people who know this work. We've worked really hard over the years to be better, and then to have senior leadership coming in over the top of that and taking it down a different path, as I've said many times, lacks integrity and it lacks leadership. And there were a number of things that stood out to me, but how the leadership had failed the organisation and the New Zealand public.
How damaging do you think those findings are for police, not just now, but also, I guess, long term?
Oh, look, this is a chapter that in police's history that actually is a very sad one. It's very disappointing for everyone, but I just want to reinforce that this does involve a small group of the most senior leaders of New Zealand Police. This does not reflect on the 15,000 outstanding men and women of New Zealand Police who do a great job day and night across the country for our organisation.
Going back to your first year as Commissioner, how would you describe?
Look, I love my job. I've loved being a policeman for 30 years. That won't change. This year has been tough. No doubt about that. I found myself dealing with a lot of things, but I always knew that that's the job that the Commissioner has. Sometimes it feels like you just take every day as it comes, and you do your absolute best. And I just hope that moving into 2026, that once I have a new leadership team in place, that I provide some clarity about our priorities and expectations. We've got a huge job to do, but certainly my first 12 months has been, felt like at times a bit chaotic. I haven't had a break yet. I have not had a day off. So bring on 2026.
How do you navigate that? I mean, high pressure job. You knew obviously signing up, high pressure job, but how do you navigate that in terms of dealing with that, in terms of?
Over my career, because policing is tough at all levels, right? But over my career, you develop a better understanding of what strengthens your resilience. You have to in this job. It's tough, and so for me, there's a range of things. I love to go for a run. I look after, my diet as best as I can. I do my best to spend time with my wife and children. I try and get a decent amount of sleep. That's probably my biggest work on at the moment. And I try and find time to do the things that I enjoy doing, whether it's fishing or mountain biking or whatever it is. So, you develop these things. But for me, I've felt my running in particular this year and the support of my family has helped a huge amount.